What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the debut album by the singer-songwriter Bebe Rexha. It's titled Expectations, and honestly, I'm happy that this is finally out to the world, because while this is the debut album, she's had a string of EPs, 3 to be exact, and also numerous features on pop-leaning songs that should have crossed her over to the mainstream and made her a little bit more of a star and a staple a lot sooner. But maybe that's just my opinion. I really loved her on Cash Cash's hit song Take Me Home. That was 2013, 2014 when that song was dominating, and she's had plenty of chances, I suppose, to break through. And while she did have some hit songs that kind of gained some traction, like Can't Stop Drinking About You, and also the track that made it onto this record too, actually, Meant to Be with Florida Georgia Line, and also I Got You. She also featured on Louis Tomlinson's prominent single Back to You, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Loved the minimalistic beat used there. Just a very chill, vibey song, and I've always appreciated her vocals, even if I didn't care for every song that she was a part of. Now, how did I learn about Bebe Rexha in the first place? Well, it might not be how you think, and my discovery was through the band Black Cards. This was an electronic trio founded by Pete Wentz, and Bebe Rexha was a member for about a year. She contributed some vocals to a few songs, but quickly went solo. And after going solo, I kind of expected her to really break through. I thought that maybe she was on the cusp of something, especially after Take Me Home, but it really wasn't until Meant to Be with Florida Georgia Line that things really started rolling for her. It's really unfortunate that Meant to Be, Bebe Rexha's worst song in my eyes, is the breakthrough single that really started to make her a little bit more of a household name. It's something that features Florida Georgia Line, the Country Bros are on the track, and they started off, "Baby, sit on back and relax." As soon as you hear that accent is just so put on, if you ask me, trying to be very southern and south, but also stealing from hip-hop culture and making that the beat of the song, and then trying to make it pop, country. I mean, it was played on like virtually every type of radio station, and I just can't stand it because it's a giant clusterfuck of stereotypes and just predictability. It's so stale, and the production is awful. I promise, that was my biggest complaint that I'm going to have with the record, because overall I was pleasantly surprised with what Bebe Rexha delivers on her debut album. It has a little bit of a singer-songwriter angle, a little bit of 90s influence, a little bit of alternative in the background. There are guitars that pop up on a surprising amount of songs here and are used pretty prominently in the mixes, and that's something that I have to give kudos for. It's not just that they use a guitar, it's that they put it to good use, especially on some of these tracks that I thoroughly enjoy, like Don't Get Any Closer, and also the opening track, Ferrari. That one's not incredible by any means, but still, I think her vocal performance and also some of the instrumental is praiseworthy. Other than Meant to Be, there is nothing on this album that I actively hate. In fact, there aren't really that many songs that I totally dislike. There's a few that I find annoying, like I Got You, which features a lot of na-na-nas in the chorus, and it's not that hooky once you've heard it so many times and you just continuously hear these pop songs that try to drill themselves into your head. I mean, I don't hate it, the verses are fine and it is catchy enough, but Bebe Rexha proves that she can be catchy without just repeating the same old little word, or just a little ad-lib, if you will, over and over again. And a prime example of that is one of my favorite songs titled Self-Control. This one seems to be about controlling yourself in a relationship, or maybe you're around someone and you just kind of act crazy, you act like a fool because you don't know what to do. One kiss and it's just intoxicating and you're lured into this person's vibe, and I love what Self-Control does. Here, it seems like she really balances both catchy but also kind of a quirky melody. I like the guitars that are looped on this one, and also that refrain is really gonna get stuck in your head. God knows self-control, I don't mean cigarettes and alcohol. I'm a Mess does similar things. It actually has a little bit of hip-hop leaning production, a little bit of extra glam there, but it also balances on a recurring guitar that loops throughout, and the song is extremely catchy vocally, and I like her presence here. It seems like she actually sells us on what's going on, the fact that her life is kind of falling apart at the seams, so she thinks, but also she's kind of holding it together and taking it all with a smile. She's not taking herself too seriously, and this seems like the kind of self-deprecating tune that isn't too hard on oneself, herself, but also doesn't push the idea that everybody's perfect. There's unfortunately plenty of mediocre moments to be found on Expectations, which, hey, I just realized that's the same title as the Hayley Kiyoko album, Expectations, that came out earlier this year. Anyways, like I was saying, mediocre moments include stuff like Knees, which is very safe from a songwriting point of view. Not that I'm mining for gold on a pop album like this, but honestly, it just feels very sterile, like it's very watered down Bebe Rexha, and I know that she's capable of more as she showcases on this same album on other songs. Also, the Tory Lanez feature was pretty horrible. I hate that, especially when there's a better feature from the rap world on this exact album, and that surprised me. It's Quavo from Migos, and he's on Two Souls on Fire. I really don't care for the track Sad. The chorus is just ear-grating, and also Mine is so repetitive and tries to put a little bit of an extra effect, especially on the chorus, maybe a little bit of auto-tune on Bebe Rexha, and it doesn't really work out. I don't want love unless it's mine, and it tries to go and do too much vocally, and it just goes into like a weird territory that doesn't work all that well for her. I also found myself kind of sitting on the fence with something like Shining Star, which starts off with like some studio chatter and somebody's playing around with like a Santana type guitar, it feels like, and then Bebe starts saying stuff, and then it goes into the actual song, and it just throws off the pacing a little bit for me, but not a huge complaint. The song is fine. It's still not one of the best ones here though. But in terms of what is some of the best songs here, well, it seems like she saved those for last. Well, excluding Meant to Be with Florida Georgia Line, of course. Starting with track number 11, Don't Get Any Closer, this album goes on a 3-in-a-row winning streak, and these are great songs. I love the key change that happens and that slow guitar on Don't Get Any Closer. This song really shows what Bebe Rexha can do with the right type of song for her, and honestly, I feel like alternative or even alternative pop would suit her a lot better, because mixed in with the guitars and even some of the actual drumming, the live drums, it sounds really nice. There's a deep bass that comes through on Don't Get Any Closer as well, and overall I'd have to say that this is probably my favorite track here. I also love the tracks that come after that. Grace and Pillow are both really good songs, but especially Grace I have to praise because it actually pits something from a different point of view. She's been dating this guy and things are going well enough, but she doesn't feel the love and the connection, and it's just nice to hear a breakup song from the woman's point of view that's saying, look, you didn't do anything wrong, instead of calling a bunch of names and saying, oh, I'm out partying, I'm all better on my own. It's basically saying, look, you're a really good guy, but this doesn't feel right and I don't want to keep leading you on. Even though you treat me right, you buy nice things for me, and all of this other stuff that you do well, and you're so good, and you'll find someone for you that works, but this sadly isn't working, so tell me how to break your heart with Grace. It's a ballad, a piano ballad at that, and it suits her very, very well. I also like the strings on this one. And then immediately after that, we get another slow song in the form of Pillow, which is another lovelorn track, and it works out quite well. I have to say that I'm enjoying this one, and it's a great close to the record. I wish this was the last song instead of the one that they had to tack on for streaming purposes, Meant to Be. Honestly, I don't think Expectations is gonna turn too many heads and surprise and shock at what all she can do, but there are good songs and plenty of potential here. I think that she could capitalize on this further in the future. I just hope that this album doesn't tank and then they're like, alright, well you have to exclusively do features and then songs and little singles that'll hopefully be trendy and get you airplay, because she has talent, she has vocal ability, and I hope to see that used further in the future. For me personally, this is a strong 3 out of 5. I do recommend a good handful of tracks for you guys to check out. I will put my favorites and least favorites in the description as always, along with the rating for the album, more information, a link to stream it. Don't forget to drop a like on the review while you're here, and let me know your thoughts on Expectations. Thanks for tuning into my Bebe Rexha review. If you're able to support me on Patreon, help what I do here on both of my channels, then tap the top link in the description or else the annotation in the corner of the screen. If you would like to see another pop review, tap right over here, or another recent video right over here. Don't forget to follow me on socials, including Twitch, and other than that, I'll see you soon on ARTV.